So when I grew up, I remember seeing Linda Carter on screen and watching Wonder Woman and, enjoying it, even though it was admittedly pretty cheesy. That's why when I heard there was a new Wonder Woman movie coming, I thought this was a great opportunity to do something new with it. And when I saw Gal Gadot, I thought, well, this is a perfect example of Wonder Woman because she fits the mold to my mind just right. And I want to go through why, because I feel like this is an important discussion to have about, believe it or not, female beauty standards. So, before we get into that, though, I do want to say, everybody, thank you so much for the viewership that you guys have provided. It has been a crazy making time, and I really appreciate everything you guys have done to help make it easier. Right now, though, we do need the watch time hours. So, if you guys can go ahead and do something like watch the playlist a few times or just get the word out and get more people to watch the show, that would be amazing. With that obligatory ritual out of the way, let's dig in to Wonder Woman. Now, some of the things that I really do like about this show is that it's set during World War One, and at a time when women were starting to take a more active role in the world and politics and politicking, and realizing that, yeah, they did have a fair bit of power, and that they could influence events the way they wanted to influence them. And when we look at Wonder Woman through the comic books and through the ages, we see that her appearance has changed significantly over time. She started looking a lot more like a, kind of higher class secretary look almost. And modern day, she's definitely got this look of more what I would call a female bodybuilder, than than what I would meet my understanding of classical senses of beauty. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that because we are always told that the Amazons are buff, strong women, but they're also incredibly beautiful. And I want to talk a little bit about what the classical Greek vision of beauty really is. So, what I'm going to draw from, believe it or not, is actually some ancient Greek statues. One of them is of Athena, and one of them is of Aphrodite. Now, the one of Athena has her holding a helmet and having the not quite the definition in the arms that you would expect from somebody who's particularly muscle bound. And yet, she's also seen as the goddess of warfare. And when I try to reconcile that, I realize that a god like Athena's strength is not necessarily in her strength of arms, but in her tactical mindset, in how she thought about combat. And that is something interesting to take away from this. So we can assume that part of an Amazonian's beauty, according to classical myth, would be them being incredibly smart as well as strong. And then I want to take a look at the personification of beauty in classical literature, which is Aphrodite. And I think it'd shock a lot of people here to realize that in most of her statues, you know, she had rolls. She had a little bit of meat on her bones. That's not a bad thing, right? What I think makes beauty the most important is an inner beauty, right? There are women that I have met that would not fit the traditional standards of beauty, but they carried themselves with such confidence, with the understanding that they were the most beautiful woman in the room, that they really were the most beautiful woman in the room because they believed it and they made you believe it. Okay? So I don't think you need a supermodel to play Wonder Woman, but I do think you need somebody that can physically look like they can pull off the stunts, which Gal Gadot does, but has a confidence of themselves and a confidence in what they're doing and a warmth. Okay? Women are at their most beautiful when they embrace those traits that one would associate with a woman. And when I'm talking a woman, I'm not necessarily saying biologically woman. I am saying people who identify with the moniker of women who take on those female aspects. Not a parody of those aspects, but those aspects, okay? When they care, when they show emotional strength and a willingness to help others through deeply emotional things. Yes, they can kick butt, but as we see in the movie Wonder Woman, it is not just her strength that inspires the men that work with her, but it is her caring. It is her kindness to the Scottish gentleman who clearly has PTSD. It is the warmth and friendliness she shows to the Native American gentleman. It is the determination and resolve she shows to Steve Trevor. And it is the acceptance and friendship and camaraderie she shows to the gentleman in the fez that exemplifies what her true beauty is. And her true beauty is that she cares. And that she cares about the people around her. And she is willing to take on responsibilities, not because the other person couldn't do it, but because it will hurt them less if she does it. And that's something truly beautiful. And that's something I think we need to focus on when it comes to when we discuss things like beauty standards, right? Look, somebody can be physically attractive. And there are a lot of women out there that are absolutely gorgeous, physically attractive. I personally consider my wife to be one of those people. But there is also a level of, I want to call it emotional or spiritual beauty to a person. We can't neglect those things. If we wind up looking like a supermodel on the outside, but on the inside we are rotten to the core, we are not beautiful. Okay? Just like when a man gets buff like Arnold, but is, does morally questionable things, we don't consider them handsome. We consider them to be morally questionable. Those beauty standards should apply to everybody. Okay. And I think for a lot of people, they do. There's a reason why guys will fantasize about the incredibly, I'm just going to use the term hot babe of hottie hotness they see on certain sites on the internet, but they would never want to be with that person. And they would never want to be with that person because they know at the end of the day it's a fake out. And that real beauty does actually come from within. It comes from a warmth, it comes from a caring, it comes from an acknowledgement to that other person that, hey, you're somebody I'm interested in. And you're somebody that I want to make some time for and get to know and help. If they have problems, help them, and vice versa. That is where true beauty comes from. That is what is the start of something attractive and something wonderful. So, do I necessarily have a problem with a super buff Wonder Woman? No. Do I have a problem with a 1940s, 45-ish secretary Wonder Woman? Not necessarily. What I do have a problem with is a Wonder Woman that has forgotten the core concepts of compassion, the core concepts of kindness, and the core concepts of just being wonderful to be around. Somebody who is relentless in pursuing truth. Because at the end of the day, her journey is about revealing truth throughout this movie. The truth of her birth, the truth of the war, the truth of the individuals fighting it. She uses her sword, if you will, more to get to the truth of a matter than to beat up the bad guys. And that is, I think, her true amazing and wonderful piece that makes her a truly wonderful woman. So I guess what I would say for this is let's focus on that for a little bit, right? Let's focus on finding our truth and showing how truly beautiful we are to those around us. Now, how can we do that? We can be honest in a kind way to the people around us. We can say to them, look, while I think it's absolutely awesome you are into this say, very nerdy thing. I am not, but I want to hear you talk about it more because you get so excited about it. And I find it awesome to listen to you when you're so excited about this thing, right? That is an amazing piece. Okay. Being able to say that to somebody like, look, I'll freely admit, something like, okay, for me, Westerns aren't really my thing, but I love hanging out with people that love Westerns because they really get into it. They buy a hat, they visit ranches, they can quote the lines, they, are deep into Harrison Ford lore. Like, all of these very cool things are a wonder to behold because they are showing me their truth. And in that moment, I get to see something really beautiful, which is them being who they were meant to be. So let's try saying that. Let's be honest with our friends in a kind way. Okay? We don't have to say, like, look, I really don't like XYZ and leave it at that. Okay? We can say something like, look, XYZ is super important to you and I get that and I want to hear you talk more about it, but you need to understand that maybe I'm not interested in participating in that. Right? And that's an okay position to be in. Okay? So let's try that kind of kind honesty and revealing our truths to others and maybe showing them the things that we get nerdy about and letting them explore it. For example, if you are particularly nerdy about a certain Witch in Residence's channel, I highly encourage you to share it out to everyone, because of course I do. But honestly, look, be it beekeeping or perfecting a dry rub or, being like a bit of a wine connoisseur, share that with people. Show them the thing that you are fantastically nerdy about. Allow yourself to be vulnerable with them. And who knows, maybe we can build some better relationships in the world. Because I think that would be great. I think it would be amazing if we can have those kind of moments together where we share our truth and allow other people to see how beautiful it is. And I think when we do that, we make the world a better place. And I'd like to do that too. So in the comments, let's try to share our truths. What is the thing that you are the most amazing at? Okay? What is the thing that to you is the most important piece of you that you want people to know about and that you could go on for hours and hours talking somebody's head off about? And guys, in the comments, if you see somebody who's got an interest that you think is cool, ask them about it. Let them rant. Let them talk about it for a long time. Let's build a community of people that want to just really be cool with other people. And who knows, we might make a couple of friends along the way. So that's what I've got today, guys. I really appreciate you guys coming out and being part of this. I think we're just about ready to close it off. I do want to let you guys know that the Rogue Council has really taken off over the last little while, and I'm super happy with the turnout and you guys being so interested in it. I do want to put an idea forward for you guys. My Twitter info is in the description. Send me a private message and detailing what things you'd like to see discussed on the Rogue Council. Do you want me to focus more on damn aliens? Do you want me to focus on lizard people, on a hollow earth, a flat earth, I don't know, dodecahedron earth, whatever it is? I want to hear about it, okay? I want to know what you guys want me to look at. Do you want me to look at the destruction of the Georgia Guidestones? Or maybe some of the cool things that have come out recently about the Mandela effect? Any of that, I am up for. You just have to tell me. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.